March 27, 1999. The sky over Serbia is dark and stormy, filled with thunder and heavy clouds. Cutting through the night is a shape almost no radar can detect. The F-117 Nighthawk, the stealth fighter feared and respected across the world. At its controls is Lieutenant Colonel Darrell Zelko, a skilled US Air Force pilot. His mission tonight, to bomb the Serbian Air Force Command Center in Belgrade, a target deep behind enemy lines. Before we dive into this incredible story, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. More real-life twists of fate are waiting for you here. As Zelko flies deeper into enemy territory, his escorting F-16 Vipers receive an urgent order. Because of worsening weather conditions, they must return to base. Suddenly the sky feels emptier, heavier. Zelko is alone. If he wants to make it home alive, he must remain undetectable, a ghost in the storm. Fortunately, the F-117 was designed for this exact purpose. On radar, the 20-meter-long bomber looks no bigger than a tennis ball. Until now, no mission has ever challenged the Nighthawk's stealth reputation. But this night would be different. On the ground, in a hidden command post, Lieutenant Colonel Zoltan Dani waits with his crew. He commands a battery of surface-to-air missiles, and tonight he believes fate is on his side. Serbian spies have warned him. Stealth aircraft are inbound. Dani knows this may be his best chance to strike one of the so-called ghosts of the sky. Search the heavens, he orders. His men power up the P-18 radar, an old system with low frequency. It's not meant to track stealth aircraft, but Dani hopes that just maybe, the weather and the rain will betray the jet's position. At first, the screen is a mess of false signals. Static, raindrops, clouds, nothing more. And then, a tiny dot moves among the noise, slow, steady. Headed directly toward them. The ghost is here, Dani whispers. The Serbian operators squint at the screen. At first, the mark seems too faint to be real. Could it be just interference? Yet the dot keeps moving, cutting across the storm like a shadow. Dani takes a deep breath. "Target radar on," he commands. The men scramble, switching systems, trying to lock onto the invisible intruder. Seconds pass. Nothing appears. Inside the F-117, Zelko continues calmly toward his target. Confident. Unaware. His stealth aircraft has always been untouchable, but in the bunker below, Dani refuses to give up. His eyes stay locked on the faint signature. If it is the ghost, it's right in front of them. All he needs is one mistake, and that mistake is about to come. As Zelko approaches Belgrade, his computer prepares the laser-guided bombs. He presses the switch, and the bomb bay doors slowly open beneath the stealth jet. In that instant, everything changes. The invisible aircraft suddenly reflects more radar waves. For a brief critical moment, the ghost is no longer hidden. "Found it! Found it!" Dani's men shout. "Phi-2 is tracking the target." "Phi-1 has lock." Dani doesn't hesitate. "Launch!" Two missiles roar into the night sky, their engines blazing like fiery spears. They rise through the storm clouds, locked on the faint shadow above. Zelko releases his bombs and begins to climb. The mission is complete. Another success, he thinks. But then his cockpit explodes with a shrill alarm. Radar lock. The sound every pilot fears. Zelko looks down through the clouds, and his blood runs cold. Two missiles are climbing fast, glowing white trails cutting through the darkness, headed straight for him. He pulls the jet hard, forcing it into evasive maneuvers. The G-forces slam him against the seat, alarms flashing red across the cockpit. Unlike other fighters, the F-117 has no flares, no countermeasures. Survival depends only on his skill. The first missile screams past his canopy, missing by inches. For a split second, hope surges. Maybe he can escape. Then, the second missile explodes. A fiery blast rips through the left wing, tearing the aircraft apart. Flames light up the sky as pieces of the invisible jet fall into the storm. Inside the cockpit, Zelko feels the jet lurch violently into a spin. The stealth fighter is no longer a ghost. It's a fireball falling from the heavens. The cockpit shakes violently as alarms scream. The left wing is shredded. the aircraft spinning out of control. Flames lick across the canopy, and Zelko is crushed by brutal G-forces as the Nighthawk tumbles through the storm. He grips the controls, fighting to stabilize, but it's useless. The stealth jet is finished. His only hope now is to eject. But even that choice could kill him. At this speed, under this crushing force, pulling the handles might tear his body apart. He hesitates for a split second, then his training takes over. Zelko yanks the ejection handles. The canopy blasts away, and in an instant, the seat rockets into the sky. He's hurled free from the fireball behind him. For a moment, he falls, disoriented, barely conscious. Then the parachute deploys with a violent snap. He looks up and curses under his breath. The chute is bright orange. In the middle of enemy territory, he might as well be a flare. The world around Zelko slows into eerie silence. Behind him, the wreckage of the burning F-117 spirals down, scattering across the Serbian countryside. Below him, darkness stretches for miles, enemy territory in every direction. The parachute flutters above, glowing like a beacon against the night sky. They'll see me, he thinks. Everyone will see me. He grips his survival radio. Mayday! 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 Vega 31 down! Vega 31 down! His voice is strained, heavy with adrenaline, but calm enough to give his last known position. For now, there's nothing else to do but pray and prepare. When his boots hit the ground, he knows the hunt will begin. The Serbian army, police, and even local villagers will soon be after him. And Zelko? He'll be utterly alone. Zelko hits the ground hard, rolling into the mud. Every muscle aches, but he's alive. Quickly, he drags his parachute into a ditch and buries it under wet soil. He smears mud across his flight suit and face, blending into the earth. The silence doesn't last long. In the distance, engines roar and voices shout. Trucks rattle down nearby roads, searchlights sweep across the fields. The word is spreading fast. An American stealth pilot has fallen from the sky. Zelko crawls deeper into the ditch, heart pounding, barely daring to breathe. He knows that if they find him now, there will be no rescue, only capture. For the first time in his career, the man who flew invisible is now completely exposed. Within minutes, the Serbian countryside erupts into chaos. Soldiers, police, and even armed villagers flood the fields, determined to capture the downed American. Their flashlights slice through the darkness, dogs bark furiously, and engines rumble as trucks circle the area. From his muddy hiding place, Zelko watches the glow of lanterns passing frighteningly close. Every shout, every crack of branches makes his pulse race. He clutches the survival knife at his chest, weighing an impossible choice: fight if discovered, or remain frozen like stone. Then he hears the heavy breathing of a dog sniffing closer. Its paws crunch the grass just outside his ditch. Slowly, Zelko draws the blade. One strike could silence the animal, but would bring its handler running. The dog pauses, sniffs again, and then, miraculously, turns away, disappearing into the night. Zelko exhales quietly. For now, he is still a ghost. The night drags on, each second stretching like an hour. Zelko presses himself deeper into the wet ground, his body shaking from cold and exhaustion. The mud clings to his skin, masking his scent, hiding him from both soldiers and dogs. He dares not move. Footsteps crunch above him, voices bark orders in Serbian, searchlights sweep dangerously close. At any moment, one wrong breath could give him away. Time feels endless. He counts each heartbeat, forcing himself to stay calm. His only hope is rescue. But will they reach him before the enemy closes in? Zelko grips his survival radio, praying for a voice in the static, praying not to be abandoned in the mud forever. The hunt grows more intense. Dozens of flashlights cut through the fields, beams dancing across the grass like predators' eyes. The barking of dogs grows louder, closer. Zelko can hear the rattling of weapons, the crunch of boots on wet soil. He forces his breathing to slow, barely inhaling, every muscle frozen. Just a few meters away, a soldier's flashlight sweeps directly over his ditch. By some miracle, it passes without stopping. Then, a new sound. Heavy panting. A dog again. Its nose pushes through the grass, sniffing only a few feet from Zelko's face. The pilot's hand grips his knife so tightly his knuckles ache. One strike could silence it, but it would also reveal him. The dog stops, sniffs again, and then, just as before, it loses interest. Turning, it trots back to its handler. Zelko exhales slowly, every nerve burning. He's still hidden, but the net is tightening. Hours feel like days. The search continues relentlessly, but finally, through the hiss of his survival radio, Zelko hears it. Sandy 01, Vega 31, do you copy? His eyes widen. The rescue team is here. His hands tremble as he grabs the radio. Vega 31, Mayday. I'm alive. Last position near target. Static answers. Then another voice. Vega 31, is it safe to move in? Zelko hesitates. He peeks over the ditch. Lanterns still glow in the distance, soldiers pacing nearby. One wrong answer could doom them both. His heart pounds. If he stays silent, they might leave. If he speaks, the enemy might hear. Finally, he whispers into the mic, "It's safe, let's go." For the first time that night, hope burns brighter than fear. The distant thump of rotor blades cuts through the night. Zelko lifts his head. A Black Hawk helicopter is racing low over the fields, its silhouette slicing across the clouds. He flips on his infrared strobe, the beacon meant to guide rescuers straight to him. But nothing happens. The device fails. Panic surges. Without it, the helicopter can't see him. Frantically, he digs into his gear and pulls out a last resort, a signal flare. Striking it, he raises it high. A burst of burning red light floods the field. For one terrifying moment, he realizes what he's done. The rescue team can see him, but so can the enemy. Shouts erupt in the distance. Flashlights whip toward the flare. Soldiers are running. Time is running out. The helicopter banks, engines roaring, heading straight for him. The flare burns like a beacon, lighting up the entire field. Serbian patrols shout, sprinting toward the glow, rifles in hand. Zelko feels exposed, frozen between salvation and capture. Suddenly, a voice crackles in his earpiece. "Kill the flare, it's blinding our night vision." Without hesitation, he plunges the flare into the mud, smothering its light. Darkness swallows him once again. And then, thunder. The Black Hawk drops from the sky, blades chopping the air as it hovers just meters away. Wind and dust whip around him. A door gunner leans out, yelling, "Move, move, move!" Zelko sprints from the ditch, every step echoing with the enemy closing in. Arms grab him, pulling him inside the helicopter. The cabin slams shut, and in seconds the bird lifts off. Below, Serbian troops flood the landing zone, seconds too late. The ghost has escaped. As the Black Hawk disappears into the night, the chaos below remains. Soldiers swarm the fields, furious at the escape. Yet their mission has still made history. For the first and only time, a stealth aircraft, the F-117 Nighthawk, the pride of American air power, has been shot down in combat. Lieutenant Colonel Zoltan Dani and his missile crew had achieved the impossible. In interviews years later, Dani would compare the moment to scoring the winning goal in a soccer match. For Serbia, it was a triumph. For the United States, a shocking reminder that even invisible technology had limits. The wreckage of Zelko's jet was recovered almost intact, and rather than destroy it, Serbian forces proudly displayed it for the world to see. The twisted remains of the F-117 were transported out of the muddy fields and into Serbian hands. Engineers and soldiers picked through the debris, examining the once invincible stealth jet piece by piece. Some fragments were studied, others were displayed as trophies. And eventually, large sections of the downed aircraft were placed inside the Museum of Aviation in Belgrade, where they remain to this day. Visitors can still walk past the scorched panels, shattered wing fragments, and the blackened cockpit glass, silent witnesses of the night the invisible jet was exposed. For the world, it was a sobering reminder. No technology is untouchable. And for the people of Serbia, it became a lasting symbol of defiance. Years passed, the war ended, but the memory of that night lived on for both men, the hunter and the hunted. Darrell Zelko, the American pilot who fell from the sky, often spoke of the man who shot him down. He said he wanted to meet him, not with anger, but with respect. And in 2011, that wish came true. In a small town in Serbia, Zelko shook hands with Lieutenant Colonel Zoltan Dani. Two former enemies face to face. Instead of bitterness, there was understanding. Both were soldiers, both had simply done their duty. The meeting was not about victory or defeat, it was about humanity. Proof that even across the lines of war, men can choose reconciliation over hatred. The downing of the F-117 became one of the most memorable events of the late 20th century. It was a turning point that proved even the most advanced technology could be vulnerable. For the US, it was a painful lesson in overconfidence. For Serbia, it was a moment of pride, celebrated as a victory against impossible odds. And for aviation history, it marked the first and only time a stealth jet had been defeated in combat. But beyond the wreckage and the politics, the story endures because of the people in it. The pilot who survived against all odds and the commander who accomplished the impossible. Their paths, once divided by war, would later cross in peace. It is a reminder that history is not just about machines and battles, it's about choices, courage, and the human spirit. On that stormy night in 1999, the invisible jet was brought down, and history was written in fire and steel. But more than a tale of technology and war, it is a story of resilience, survival, and the strange twists of fate that connect even enemies. Darrell Zelko survived against impossible odds, hidden in the mud until rescue found him. Zoltan Dani achieved what the world thought was impossible, proving that determination can overcome even the most advanced machines. And years later, the two men chose to meet not as enemies but as men who respected each other's courage. Stories like this remind us, war may divide, but humanity has the power to heal. Before you go, ask yourself, what did this story teach you about courage and fate? And if it moved you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves true stories, and subscribe for more incredible twists of history.